future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Catherine Gray.
Hi, welcome to Live, Love, Thrive, Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by, of course, 360karma.com. And if you want to follow us and not miss any of episodes of these amazing women we have on every week, then be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. It's for the rebroadcast, and also follow us on your podcast, iTunes, iHeart, and others. Today, as always, we have some incredible ladies. Today is from the League of Women Voters, Marilu Guevara. I think I got that right. And Crissi Avila are here with us today, and we're going to be talking about the League of Women Voters, which is an amazing organization that's been around for 100 years. And then later in the show, we're going to be talking with Courtney Cowan, and she left the television industry to become an entrepreneur, and we're going to talk about that exciting journey. So stick around for that, but right now, please give a warm welcome to Marilu and to Crissi. Hi, guys. How are you?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Oh, wonderful to have you. You know, it's amazing to me that a lot of people don't know what the League of Women Voters is and how it could benefit them. And my goal is to spread that word and educate people, because it's really an amazing organization that does really incredible work to help women. And so I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about how you all got involved. First, I would like to talk about the two of you and where you're from and how you ended up working with League of Women Voters, because I know you're the executive director now, and you, Crissi, are on the board.
Correct,
and
correct.
Both of
Second
you started,
vice president.
Second vice president.
Yes.
And you both started as volunteers, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting to me, too. You both have a Latino background, your dad being from Mexico and your parents being from El Salvador. And growing up, though, here in L.A., both of you, but in very different worlds. You, Marilu, coming from Compton, and you, Crissi, coming from Pasadena. And growing up, you know, going to like Catholic school, right?
Correct.
Private
Yeah,
Catholic
private,
school.
all girls.
Yeah. And then a lot of people, you know, that movie has made Compton so famous, this Straight Outta Compton movie.
Yes.
It's like
That
everybody
movie.
now has heard of Compton, which I don't think everybody had heard. But
Right.
you and I had a really, I thought, interesting conversation about, you know, people think of it now because of that movie as like gangland. And I know you grew up there. You still live there now, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Still live there.
And the conversation we had was that you were saying, you know, you grew up, you didn't know anything differently, so you didn't know it was, you know, that you had like lack of resources, or you couldn't bring your books home from school, you know, things that were not common in other areas, because we only know what we know, right? Yeah.
Correct. Growing up in Compton, I mean, it was my normal, you know.
Yeah.
You don't one day sit around and say, okay, so can you take your books home? Like, you know, does this happen in your community?
Right.
I think growing up, you just focus on, in my case, school. You know, my family life was stable, so school was definitely kind of the big focus of making sure that I received good grades, that I got out of school, went to college. So I was lucky. I think we were speaking. I was lucky that I did not get involved with a lot of the stereotypes that come with being born and raised in Compton. A lot of it that you probably saw in the film.
And I'm glad to have you talking about this, because people do have that stereotype of Compton. And here you are, a very accomplished, educated young woman. You're now the executive director of League of Women Voters. And, you know, I just think it's good for people to see, you know, that there's different outcomes in different places. Other people come from very wealthy neighborhoods, and they end up being bums and not giving back.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, so it
Trust
really
fund
has
babies.
to do with, what do you think it has to do with it? Because what I think it has to do with doesn't,
I think a lot of it is, you know, the variable is always your own personal motivation in life. I think your own personal courage to kind of, you know, overcome a lot of the challenges.
Right.
A lot of them, just for my speaking about my own journey, a lot of it is just resources, you know, lack of resources.
Right.
So, like I said, I had a nurturing home, so I'm fortunate that I didn't, you know, that's always been my support system.
Isn't that so true that the most important thing when you get right down to it is the things that are free, like love?
Right.
I mean, love is
yes.
free, right? Children that grow up being loved and getting attention can end up being normal no matter what background they grow up in, I believe.
Right.
You know?
Those healthy
So-
relationships.
Right?
Yeah, and that can definitely, I mean, it won't overcome a lot of the, you know, imbalance of equity and maybe fairness and that, you know, that we encounter in society. But I think it definitely provides a good support system that allows you to kind of have a stronger mindset that can overcome a lot of the challenges that you're going to face in life.
Right.
So, and it's definitely brought me to the league, and it makes the work that I do on an everyday basis, alongside, you know, Crissi, a lot more powerful.
Right. Yeah, it's nice that what you do on a daily basis is giving back. I mean, for me, this is what my show is all about. It's women that are successful but are doing something to give back, and that's certainly the two of you. Because I know, Crissi, as far as your profession, you're in real estate,
Right.
but this is kind of your give back, and I think that's what it's all about, is having that balance. Sure, everybody has different jobs that they do, but they're always it's always important to do the give back, because that usually is the most fulfilling part of our life.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, growing up in Pasadena, I was blessed and lucky, you know,
Yeah.
and I went to an all-girls high school, a Catholic high school, and then when I went to college, I realized what was really going on. You know, I realized that there was a lot of kids that didn't really have good parenting or didn't have a place to stay. I mean,
Right.
it was quite an eye-opener, and I think seeing that and just looking at my life and their life and just realizing how different it is, it
Right.
definitely made an impact. That and college in and of itself, college just learning
Right.
about the inequities and the things going on in the world that you just don't really get
Right.
at home. You know?
And you said your dad was Mexican, and I guess he had some challenges with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. Well, I mean, he grew up in East LA. He used to take the red car into downtown LA as a kid, and he always just kind of understood what it's like to be, you know, to be seen a certain way by the rest of society.
Right.
And I know when he was in the Army, he had some challenges as far as discrimination and things like that. But so I kind of had that viewpoint from him, you know, as far as like the inequities and things like that. So
And then, you know, and you've had your own challenges yourself, and I think, you know, nobody escapes this life without some challenges, which bring us to the work that we typically do. And, you know, you shared, and I'm sure there's other listeners that will relate to this, is that, you know, you struggled with drugs and things like in college that
I did.
I think a lot of people did. It was especially very common in that time frame of what, the 80s or whatever.
Right.
And so, but you overcame that.
I did.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of issues partying in high school and college, and that's why getting out of college was so challenging.
Yeah.
And a couple years after college, I quit drinking, and that was kind of the beginning of a journey of just understanding
day?
myself. Yeah, to this day.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, and just understanding myself and really what I want and where I'm going and being a functioning, productive citizen.
Yeah.
You know, it was a monumental move for me to quit drinking, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is pretty big and bold, and a lot of people will relate to that. You know, either they're in the same shoes you are, where they've overcome it, or they're still struggling with it, which is a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not easy to quit.
Did you go the AA route?
No, actually,
Yeah.
I
Some people
tried
do,
it.
some people
yeah,
don't.
I
Yeah.
couldn't relate actually to some of the people, but no, it's a great organization. I ended up doing it through counseling, so I had a
Oh.
therapist that helped me and just kind of
that's
held me
awesome.
to account. Yeah, I mean, it's hard
I
to
always
do on
say
your own.
nothing's one size fits all. I think everybody has to do what's good for them, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but we all have these struggles. And then back to you, Marilu, that I know I was asking you, growing up in that city where there was a lot of gang violence, I was asking if you had lost anybody, because it seems like there's so many tragic things that happen all the time when there's gangs related.
Right.
But you had said not in your immediate circle, but that you found that when you went to your high school reunion, you'd realized how many people you had lost in situations like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate that nobody in my inner circle of friends passed away. They were probably very like-minded. You tend to hang out a lot of the time, especially during that age, with people that think like you do. So we had other priorities.
Your mom said,
when you look for trouble, you will always find it.
Right.
No matter where you're raised, If
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, but now in the kind of the interconnectivity of social media, we've all joined all of our high school or college pages, alumni pages. And, I slowly started seeing that a lot of the people that I had in classes that I, spoke to casually in the hallways of high school have passed away.
Sad.
Some of them very tragic stories,
Right.
others, at the wrong place at the wrong time. So, while I wasn't, directly affected, I do know people, from high school that did end up passing away. And it's, I think if anything, it kind of confirms, that kind of the steps that I took in the journey and where I am now was definitely kind of solidifies
Right.
Those life decisions that I made at any given moment.
like how important it is to go to college and things
Correct,
like that.
correct.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
not for everyone.
Right.
But it definitely, I think it worked out well for me.
Right. And I always say, there's a saying I love, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are.
Oh, right.
And it is the company you keep, and that's why you created that inner circle. And I think we do tend to want to be around like-minded people. And I think when we break through that barrier and we try to spend time with people that aren't like-minded, it just doesn't feel right. It's like you kind of do need to go with your own people that think the same way and have the same values, and right.
Well, it's definitely a character and a mental challenge when we don't, right?
Right.
And you can see that in our, I don't want to get too political, but Crissi and I kind of move in this political world, being part of the League of Women Voters, that we do find ourselves, interacting with a lot of people who won't interact outside of their political sphere,
Right. Right.
Because it's much harder to have a conversation full of civil discourse.
Yes.
Because it tests our own kind of triggers,
Yes,
that might
right.
go off. It
Now,
definitely takes more patience.
Am I crazy, or does it feel like it used to be easier for both sides to talk? I feel like it used to be.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
think so.
really
It's
gotten so
really
divided.
changed.
Yeah. So League of Women Voters has been around 100 years, and a lot of people probably don't even know that it is bipartisan.
Right.
Right?
Nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan.
Yes. Correct. Correct.
Nonpartisan. And so almost 100 years ago is when we got the right for women to vote, right?
1920.
And it was the suffragettes that made that possible. And I understand from you that they're the ones that created this organization.
Correct. The League is, it has a long legacy of being a very grassroots organization. So our suffragette foremothers like Susan B. Anthony, when women won the right to vote, there was about 12 million women who needed not only to be indoctrinated into this new civic life, but needed to, keep being educated about the issues at the time. So they had a new responsibility, and the League was very much an organization that grew out of, people's homes. It was you and I getting together, to talk about civic issues and talk about how we could promote voting to women who had probably disinterest at the time in their new civic duty. So, and 97 years later, we're still doing the same type of work that we were doing, 100 years ago.
And you mentioned to me that, of course, this is all over the country, but you have 400 volunteers just right here in LA and 36 chapters in California alone.
That is correct.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
and so necessary. And as big as it is, it still amazes me how many people don't know what you all do. So let's talk about that. One of the things you do is help women register to vote. So this is good for millennials to know that are
Everyone to
coming
vote.
into voting
Yes,
age.
yes.
You help them understand the issues on referendums and whatnot. And so I think, I can't tell you how many times people tell me, you know, oh, I'm not going to vote on these different things because I don't know anything about them. And little
Right.
do they know, all they have to do is reach out to you guys and learn about it.
That's so
Correct,
true.
correct.
So last
Yeah.
year we have a speakers bureau every year that we put together, and it's people, volunteers with the league that go out and talk to several different organizations throughout LA and throughout, I guess, the state. You know,
So if someone
throughout
had
the
an
country,
organization,
really.
they could even call you all and say, hey, will
Yeah.
you come speak to our people?
Yes.
and we'll come and go
I
through
love
all
that.
the propositions.
And our league also
I might have you guys
puts
do
out-
that for 360 Karma.
Oh, perfect.
Great.
Because we have a
Let's
monthly
plan it.
workshop, and I think that'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
also have a voter guide that we ourselves fundraise. Our volunteers write the content. We go ahead and we publish it, and we have a partnership with the library, the city library. So if you walk into a library around 2 months before election time, that's a guide that you can find, and it's much easier to understand than the Secretary of State's guide.
Yeah.
And it just gives you the pros and the cons on the issue and lets you know why you're voting on it.
Oh, I
It's very
love
simple.
that.
Right.
I
yeah.
love that.
That's great.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
can't-
great tool.
Yeah, because like, where do you get the information? And it might be like in the paper and be biased or whatever. So it's
Correct.
nice to know you guys.
Right.
you
And that's
give
one
us-
of the things that brought me into the league.
Right.
Was just always every year checking to see what they were supporting,
Yeah.
what their position was, and what, just the overview of whatever proposition was up. or
And then you
candidate.
also do speakers forums, right, where people can get to know the candidates. I remember I
Correct.
went to one a couple years ago for Lindsay Horvath when
We
she
have
was
one
running for
tonight.
mayor.
Right.
We have one tonight, actually.
Oh.
If any of your listeners are in Assembly District 51, which
Uh-huh.
runs all the way up to Pasadena, all the way to East Hollywood, we have one tonight at the Sotomayor campus. It's a special election.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and your listeners can visit our website and get the details or follow us on
Speaking
Twitter.
of the website,
Yes.
it's leagueofwomenvoters.org.
It's lwvlosangeles.org.
Oh, lwvlosangeles.org. Wonderful. I'm sure do we have that up on the screen? Okay, great. And for those listening, it's good to say it actually. And so you have speaker forums, you have the referendums being explained, and you have people can register through you all,
Correct.
and they can come volunteer.
Correct. We're always in need of volunteers. We currently have a lot of programs and activities that we're focusing on. We also, if you have any young listeners, we also have a youth program where we also provide internship opportunities.
What if women want to run for office? Would they reach out to you all?
They definitely
Sure,
can. They
yeah.
definitely can.
Because I think some people think, oh, I would like to run for office, but I don't know where to begin. Maybe you all would be a good first call.
We have a lot of volunteers who have future political aspirations, and they find that their experience with the league prepares them. It definitely immerses you into public policy,
yeah.
and since you interface with a lot of people, you do a lot of outreach. It definitely it's like a boots on the ground kind of training.
Yeah.
So
I am so excited to see so many more women running. Are you
I
all getting
know.
more members
It's
now?
Incredible.
Or
yeah,
yeah.
we've gotten a lot
You've
more
seen an
members
uptick?
since yeah,
cool.
since end of last year.
correct. It
Yes.
seemed the November election did. After that election night, something did change. I think people felt the need to kind of reach out to civic organizations and find out if they could create some change, whatever that change might be.
Right.
So we've
Right.
definitely seen an increase in not only our membership but our volunteers.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. And they say so many more women are registering to run. Would either of the two of you run?
Oh,
Crissi?
no. Not right now.
Very little.
Not myself, but I promote a lot of my friends can tell you. I'm always saying you should run. You should run.
Yeah.
I think I definitely promote civic leadership. I think people running in general, especially women, because we do need more representation. But I myself don't want to put my hat in that ring.
So did you see in Virginia, like I mean, it was almost half women that took the seats. I was like,
I
wow,
know.
this
That's
is
amazing.
exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, before they
very
wouldn't even
exciting.
run. You know,
Yeah.
I have to say, with all the turmoil going on, that it's been good in the respect that it's made women rise up and want to run and vote and
Right.
participate and obviously with the new topic of sexual harassment coming to the forefront.
Absolutely, women are starting to realize
it's starting to empower women.
They're starting to realize they need to be in positions of power. They need to take control and be in in leadership positions. I think we have a feminist wave right now happening.
Oh,
I'm very
no
excited.
doubt. No doubt.
No
Yeah.
doubt. Yeah.
So this is a beautiful time to be involved in the League of Women Voters.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And so how would people reach out to you? Just go to the website and then find out about your next meetings?
Sure. So we have a website, of course, that we've already said, lwvlosangeles.org. We're on social media. Our handle is at lwvlosangeles. And we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. So if that's easier for your listeners, so you can you'll find our contact information there as well. So the first step is just making a phone call, sending a tweet, sending an email, and then we'll get in touch. And there's a space in our organization for anyone looking to create change and get involved.
Love it.
Yeah.
And so if they follow you on Facebook or Twitter also, too, they'll be up to date on what happenings
Our
are taking
events.
what we're
place.
doing.
Loving it.
We just had a Constitution happy hour last weekend, and we had a really nice turnout. We had a gentleman, Andrew Gumbel,
From the
speak
Guardian.
about the Constitution. It was
Yeah.
things like that. That's what we do. That's
So
one of the things.
if
we
politics and whatnot are important to you, this is an opportunity to be with like-minded people.
do. Right.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, the great thing about the league is once I can't say that it's I can't stop saying that it's grassroots, because it's your community members are part of the league, it's your neighbors, your friends. There's a great social dynamic, but at the same time we're striving to do a lot of great work in our communities and to get people civically involved. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, perfect timing for this conversation. Thank you
Yes.
both for being
Thank
on.
you. Thank you,
I hope
Catherine.
people will reach out and join and tell other people about it. We want to get the word out there. It's a great organization.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you for both being here. And we will be right back with Courtney Cowan. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in to the Live, Love, Thrive show, where we bring you powerful and positive programming about women and those who support women's empowerment. It seems by sharing their stories and showing us their talent and potential, they remind us of our own. We ask you to join us weekly by taking a minute to subscribe to our 360 Karma YouTube channel so you get to see every episode of these uplifting and inspiring stories. We all need more of this, yes? And did you know we have the Live, Love, Thrive book on our 360 Karma website and on Amazon? If you enjoy reading books of incredible women who are doing amazing work in the world, you will want to pick up a copy. Also, when you join 360karma.com, you will enjoy our growing video content of expert advice and support and learn about our workshops. If you would like to align with a like-minded, purpose-driven community, you will feel at home at 360karma.com. We encourage and support you to live the life you love. And we are back with Courtney Cowan. Hi, Courtney. How are you?
Hello, doing well. How are you?
It goes quickly, right?
It does. Exactly.
Everything's happening here in real time. You're like, oh my God, we're already on the air.
We're live.
I just love your story because I think you are such an inspiration to my listeners that are in a corporate job and wanting to start their own company. And I love your story, and I'm looking forward to us chatting about it. But first of all, you were born in Texas.
I was Fort Worth.
Right, but you actually grew up in the Midwest, in
Yes.
Indianapolis, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, because I imagine we have a lot of people that are, from that area too, not just here in LA.
Yeah.
But you wanted to be in the television business, so you made your way here to Los Angeles.
I did when I
Yeah.
graduated from college in
Yeah,
2000. I
who
moved
does
out here.
that?
Exactly. This is not the place to
You
be.
and a few million other people, right?
Exactly.
Boy, it's a competitive business, and I'm so impressed with how you really flourished in television. And
Thank you.
let's talk about first what you did in that arena before we talk about where it took you to start your own business.
Okay.
But you were working on exciting shows. In fact, you were working on one here at Sunset Gower Studios, right?
Yes, I think I ended up doing 3 projects over the course of my career here
Oh
at
my
Sunset
gosh.
Gower. So this is like a
Wow.
homecoming.
Yeah, and one of them was the 6 Feet Under, right?
Yes,
for
6 Feet
HBO,
Under.
which I know a lot of people love. So,
Yeah.
and what were the other projects? Do you recall?
I did Flash Forward, which was an ABC show, and then I did another ABC show. It was a summer hit called Scoundrels.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
Oh, you do?
I think
Oh.
so, or maybe it just sounds
It
like
was-
Scandal. I don't know.
Exactly, which I think she too. Yes, so but 6
Yeah.
Feet Under was here. I was here for 4 years.
So, growing up, you always knew that you wanted to be in television. Yeah, was that a dream?
It was a dream I realized in college, actually.
And you were in the production end of it, right?
I was a post-production supervisor.
Yeah.
And I kind of, both my parents were teachers and coaches, and I went to college thinking I was going to become an English teacher, high school English teacher. And right around my sophomore year, I realized there are other things out there that interest me, one of which is television and film production. So I changed my major and we had a telecommunications department at Indiana University. So I got as much experience as I could there, and then when I graduated in 2000, moved out here.
And how did you get your first job here? Because I think people are always interested how people break into this industry. So what?
Yeah.
And usually it's some quirky story. Was yours a quirky story? It always is. There is no traditional way to get in TV here in Los Angeles.
I am definitely one of those people that had one of the stories of
Yeah.
my aunt knew someone whose daughter worked in TV.
Yeah.
So she connected me with her my junior year of college.
Yeah.
And I
So
just
your aunt
cold
was
called
living
her.
out here.
No, she lived in Texas.
Oh my gosh, that's
But
so
someone
wild.
she worked with, daughter, lived out here.
Oh my gosh.
And worked in television. So I cold called her when I was a junior and just asked her for advice and, do I need to move to Los Angeles and go to USC and transfer? Or do I need to, can I stay here and then move out and get a job? And we kept in touch. And when I was getting ready to graduate, she was about to get promoted and needed someone to fill the position that she was in. So the day after graduation, I flew out here, interviewed for the position. They absolutely took a chance on me because I didn't know, I knew what post-production was, but it's definitely a learn as you go type of job. And but they took a chance on me, so I went home, packed up my stuff, and
just
moved
went
out
for
here.
it,
Yeah,
huh? Yeah,
And it was a
very
sink or
cool.
swim, and I swam, thankfully. So
Yeah, I think I hear a lot of those stories where, especially where people get into things that they don't really know what they're doing, but there's nothing like hands-on learning, really.
absolutely,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very valuable.
So, meanwhile, percolating since you're like 6 is that you really loved baking.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's always been, so kind of that was another love of yours, but thinking, I think we're thinking when we're 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever, and you're thinking, I love baking. Maybe I could do that for a living. Hardly anybody's thinking that, right?
Exactly.
You're thinking, okay, well, I like cookies, but that's where it stops.
Exactly.
Right? But for you, something more was percolating. So here, while you were in the television industry, you were also on the side baking cookies and bringing them to the set and whatnot and starting a little side business, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it started, I just brought them in for fun because I would,
Yeah.
bake at night and bring them in for people and just put them in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And
And
I
see
started
everybody
hearing,
happy. you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
It was just to share a little, share some cookies. And then I kept overhearing people saying, what bakery are these from? Where are these from? And I realized maybe I had created something special, and
you have, by the way.
thank you.
They're amazing. I
Thank you
mean,
so
and I'm a big
much.
cookie fan, and so I would be a big judge on it.
Well, that is
They're
a
pretty
compliment
awesome.
then. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. So that definitely got the wheels spinning, and I was like, well, maybe there's something to this. And
Yeah.
so I started coming up with new flavor ideas at night, after work,
Yeah.
and I really loved that process. It was a great creative outlet and really fun for me. And in 2005,
So like the television was like work, and you liked it, but this was like kind of having fun. But oh my gosh, could this really be a business?
Yeah, it was funny because my dream, was I wanted to be a producer in TV and film, and then I had a wonderful career and I loved my job, but this definitely sparked something inside of me that was I could not squash. And so every time I would, in 2005, I started an online cookie company, and I would come home from work at 10 o'clock and have to bake 12 dozen cookies. And
Oh my gosh, you have to love it to do that.
you do, and that's quickly what I realized, is that each step of the process I loved it even more. So it was like coming up with the flavors, and then being able to deliver these cookies and see the happiness that shared with people, and the smiles that it brought to their faces. That was extremely special, and that's when it really became my new dream, was to have a cookie shop where I could have people come in and share that joy on a daily basis.
Now, I love your story because you worked in television for 12 years. For 7 years, you did this business on the side. And I think it was in 2011 you thought, I can't do both anymore. Like, I can see how that would be a total burnout, trying to do 2 jobs. I mean, especially as you grow a business over time, it really takes up more. And you almost walked away from it. And then the next year, you had this back injury. That laid you up for 8 weeks.
Exactly.
Surgery, I should say.
Yes.
And it's so interesting to me when people tell me these stories, that I think here, it's so bad you're having, your back ache is so bad you're having this major surgery that makes you not work for 8 weeks. And it actually is so life-changing in a positive way because it gave you time to do a business plan and completely walk away from television and start your dream shop and open your bakery that now is online. It's also in person, brick and mortar, and everything. I mean, and I know you do corporate catering and everything, because you just catered our Live, Love, Thrive conference with fantastic cookies and some other events of ours. Everybody raves about your cookies. I mean,
thank you
let's
so
talk
much.
about what flavors you do, like Rocky Road and Cinnamon Sugar, and I think there was a Harvest Spice, and I mean, really some creative stuff besides chocolate chip, which is my favorite, and sugar cookies and whatnot. But I could see how it'd be fun thinking up the flavors.
Yeah, it really is.
But it's so true. I literally, when people see your cookies, their eyes light up, like, oh my gosh, And I know I met you at an event actually for the AIDS Alliance.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh my God, I love this girl's cookies. I want her at my event. And I think word of mouth is probably the best.
Absolutely, word of mouth
growth,
is a very
right?
powerful thing. Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
if you do what you love and you do it well, you can succeed.
So, end of story. You did leave television and start this whole enterprise, being an entrepreneur.
I did.
And now you've been doing this how many years? Since 2012, basically? 2013?
Yeah, we.
Full-time?
I got the keys to the brick and mortar on January 1st, 2013, and then we opened
wow.
April 16th. 2013. So.
And you're located on Wilshire.
On Wilshire Boulevard, between La Brea and Fairfax.
Between La Brea and Fairfax. I remember you telling me you're catty-cornered across from a theater.
From the El Rey Theater.
El Rey Theater,
Yes.
because a lot of people know that as a iconic place.
That's there. We're about 8 blocks to the east of the LACMA, too. So
Are you open 7 days? Or
we're closed on Mondays, but we are open the other 6 days. We're open late on Fridays and Saturdays until 11 o'clock.
Smart. So
you
you
get
get
those after dinner
theater crowd.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Which is always really fun. It's like a party in there on the weekend evenings,
fun.
which is really fun. And then open.
What time do you open in the mornings?
11 a.m.
11. So 11 to what time?
8 during
on weekdays, and then 11 on the Friday and Saturday.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fun. Great. I'm going.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on. Come see us.
Yeah. And so let's talk about how you got this back injury, because I think that's something that a lot of people deal with in America. They say it's a huge, huge number of people. I feel like I think I read it was like 1 in 4 people have back issues. I know it's big.
Yeah.
And so tell us, what was the catalyst to you having this, needing this back surgery? You were telling me your parents were gymnastic coaches, right?
Yeah, my mom was a gymnast. And my dad was a football player, and then got into gymnastics as a coach as well.
And so you were a big gymnast.
I was a gymnast,
Yeah.
yes. From the time I could walk until about 14.
Wow.
And a competitive gymnast. And so I think it was a combination of that. And my mom has her share of back issues, so I think there's some genetics involved.
Now, did you have any specific event that caused the back injury or anything, or just
I was in my kitchen cooking actually for my birthday party, and my back was aching, and I was like, oh, I'll just go do. I was an athlete, so I was like, oh, I'll do some sit-ups, and that'll counteract
And
the back pain.
how old were you then?
It was my 31st birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I went to do some sit-ups, and I could not bring my knees to my chest, and I couldn't move.
Oh my gosh!
And so that was when the discs actually slipped, and then it was about a 3-year process of trying to figure out, because then that created a sciatica problem.
Oh my God, so painful, huh?
It was a lot of pain, yeah. And so then the surgery thankfully fixed that, which was great.
That's great.
But I was definitely nervous about my ability to, because it's an extremely, baking and running a food business of any kind is extremely labor intensive. And so I was concerned about, how that would go. And I remember one day my dad saying, like, you can always run the show from a wheelchair, worst case. Like, you can, nothing is going to get in the way. Like, you can, if you want to make it happen, you will make it happen.
And you're like, I don't want that.
I don't want that. And thankfully that's not what happened. But it's funny because sitting is the worst thing for me with that. So being so active. Should we stand up and talk? No, I'm good. But yeah, so being so active
is actually good.
It has been great.
Right.
And so, it all worked out beautifully.
That is wonderful. That I know back surgery can be so serious, and so I'm so happy for you that turned out with a good result.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes, me too.
I think they're improving upon it immensely. Back surgeries. Yeah.
I can't recommend my surgeon enough. He's an amazing. So
what's his name?
Dr. Sanjay Khurana. He's down in Marina Del Rey, and he's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Milk Jar Cookies, I take it's milkjarcookies.com?
It is.
Yeah, okay,
Yep,
so people can find you online.
Yes.
It's just flourishing, obviously. Will you be opening any other locations, or you want to keep it that location, or?
I would love to open more. This year we opened an offsite facility that's our shipping and delivery hub. So we deliver citywide and ship nationwide, and so that side of the business was growing organically anyway. And then we kind of got thrust onto the national stage this year because we launched a line of baking mixes with Williams Sonoma. Which is extremely exciting. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic.
So, yeah, and it's been.
No, tell me what that looks like and how did that happen? Did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you? How did you make that happen?
They actually reached out to me and said they were trying cookies from all over the country and wanted to, found us online and wanted to try some of our cookies, and so they ordered some and did, and then they ordered some more, and over the course of a few weeks I guess we made it to the final round, so they ordered more, and then they, a few months after that, sent me an email out of the blue and said, great news, we want to greenlight a series of baking mixes based on your recipes. Is that something you're interested in?
Wow,
I was like,
that is
let me
so
think.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's been so much
honor.
fun. Such an honor, and very surreal.
That is, but it just goes to show when you're doing what you're meant to be doing, which is doing what you love, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Look how it just falls into place. That's
been
amazing. They came knocking on your door.
They did.
That's huge.
And I think, I used to say we are growing without even trying, and I won't allow myself to say that anymore.
No,
because
actually, whatever you say is what manifests, so that's actually probably a good thing to say.
That's true. But it's like, because on a daily basis, we're trying very hard, so with every single cookie and with every single box of cookies we deliver, it's, the experience is something that's so important. And so, each of those efforts, I think, has led to the growth and the success that we've had because, it's been very organic, which I'm extremely lucky.
Do you work in the store yourself?
I love working in the store. It's so fun. I love helping customers. It varies. Every day is different. So there are days that I'm at the shop. There's days I'm at the baking facility, helping with shipping and delivery. There's days I get to do fun things like this and talk about the brand. And then, it's just everything in between. But I really love like those Friday and Saturday nights, like I was saying, being there and helping customers. And I don't get to do as much of that anymore. But when I do, I'm like, this is why I did this. I love this so much.
Which is the fastest growing part of the business? I would imagine people seem to say online is what's really growing in every arena. Like more and more people, they don't want to get up and walk in. Yeah, like me, I like to walk in and like look at the cookies, you know, or products, whatever it is, you know, but in this case, cookies, and say, "Ooh, I want to try that and that and that." Of course, that's pretty dangerous, but more and more people are ordering online, especially I would think around the holidays. You guys must get, oh my gosh. Yeah, I could see definitely going on and ordering and sending these to my family on the East Coast or
with
clients.
Yeah, exactly. We do a lot of corporate gifting, a lot of just, you know, person to person gifts. We you know, winter is coming. Is what we always say, because it's a very intense month.
Do you do online advertising, or is it?
We actually just, you know, we advertise through Facebook sometimes, but we really, since we've opened, it truly has been word of mouth. We've done very little advertising. You know, for me, I have found great value in doing the things like the Entertainment AIDS Alliance event. Like, we do a lot of charity events like that, where I can get out and I can engage with people and talk about, you know, what we're doing and share. And I find a lot of value in that. Plus, it feels good to be able to give back and do things that are helping organizations that are doing amazing things. Right. And so so that has been where I have, you know, tried to grow it. And
you were telling me originally, because you were in the TV industry, you were thinking it was going to be a lot of like craft services, delivering to sets, and that's some of your business. Some of it.
But the walk-in traffic, just from the day we opened, has been wonderful. Yeah, and I think, you know, it's a wonderful location with a mixture. It's a great
location. You know, they wasn't it you that told me they call Wilshire the Main Street of LA?
Yeah. I was so excited by that, because I always pictured, because inside the shop is very, you know, every detail has been paid attention to, and we've. It's very much a homey, warm environment. So I always and that was my vision. So I always pictured that on like a sweet, quaint little main street, and then the location we found is Wilshire Boulevard, which is, you know, is quite busy. But then, the day after we signed the lease, this article came out calling Wilshire the Main Street of LA. So
now, I love this part of your story, is that. And I think people listening should pay attention to this, is that as an entrepreneur, you have to like be with a certain kind of person that's supportive of this, and that you had dated some people that kind of were wanting to squelch that dream and whatnot. And, you know, it's so important, because had you been with someone like that, you wouldn't have this fabulous, flourishing business. And so I'm so glad that you didn't give in to that. But it's a message to people that if you have a dream and you want to build a business, especially women, you know, who need encouragement and confidence, to be sure to pick the right partner or friends to support your dream. Exactly. Because it's so easy for people to shoot it down. But luckily, you met an amazing guy, and it was kind of through your cookies.
I did offer
which is
him
no
a cookie.
surprise.
The first day we met, exactly. We met in 2006. So I had started that online cookie company on the side, and I had an order that the night before, and so we met at the copy machine on Entourage. We both worked on that show together, and he came over to my desk later that day to chat, and I offered him a cookie. So, but yes, he
that probably sealed the deal.
You know, I think it's all due to the cookie. I do. He's an amazing person, and
he's your husband now.
He is my husband. We just had our 7th wedding anniversary.
Right. And his name?
Adam.
Adam.
Yes. Okay. Adam Tiller, and he actually is responsible for our branding. He's extremely talented. He's an editor in television, who also has a very keen eye for design. So he designed our logo and all of our paper goods. I
have a friend in marketing that said a lot of entrepreneurs do not realize the importance of branding, and that's where they fall short, and branding is everything.
I'm a sucker myself for beautiful branding and beautiful marketing, and so I knew
you guys have great packaging, great branding.
That was very important to me to do that, and to really.
And so basically, you married him for that?
Absolutely.
Match made in heaven.
Exactly. No, we wrote our own wedding vows, and he did put something in the vows about how he would support all of my dreams, cookie or otherwise. So it was definitely a dream that he came in on the very beginnings of, and
Yeah,
has
he
championed
sounds like
me.
a great guy.
He is a great guy.
So that's one of the words of advice I think you have for entrepreneurs is surround yourself with people or a partner that's supportive.
Yeah, and you know, if they can't keep up with you, then
Yeah.
move on. You know,
That's
like
it.
I have none of my family is out here, and so from when I moved out here, a lot of people from my university actually moved out at the same time. So there was a group of us, and we're still extremely close to this day, and they have been a huge source of support for
Well,
me.
you know, they say one of the things that makes people successful also is community. I'm a big believer in community. They
Absolutely.
say it also in research shows that people who are the happiest have community. So
absolutely see
success, happiness, it's all tied to having a supportive, like-minded group of people cheering you on and holding you accountable.
Yeah,
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good for
Absolutely.
that too. What other advice would you have for young women that want to start businesses? Because, you know, it's there's a lot to it. Like, you know, what would be your advice? I mean, I think one of the things that you did really smartly was to start your business while you had your job. You know, but other than that, do you have anything that you'd like to share?
I think do your research and don't be afraid to admit what you don't know. I literally did not know. I knew how to bake cookies. I didn't know how to bake them on that scale. I didn't know how to use,
Right.
a convection oven. I didn't know how to use a 30-quart mixer. But that's okay, you know, and
Yeah.
you just, if you can do your research and figure out what you do need to know
Yeah.
and find people or resources that can help you learn them, you know, and there's going to be a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to know.
Can't give up.
No, exactly. You just got to keep pushing and make it happen. Like where there's a
think-
will, there is a way. So.
Yeah, I think that's such smart advice in that when you don't know something, I think there's so many people that will say, oh, I don't know how to do that. And then they just give up. They're like, oh, I don't know how to do that.
And that's not my personality.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I'm totally like, I don't know how to do that. Let me find someone who does.
Yep.
You know, and that is the mentality an entrepreneur has to have because we can't know everything.
No.
You know, when I think about everything from Facebook marketing to branding to building my website to all of these things, I think I knew none of that. I found people who were good at that. And obviously you did too. We don't have to know how to build the website. We don't have to know how to do the branding or the marketing or whatever, the blog or whatever.
Exactly.
It's actually why with Live, Love, Thrive, my 360 Karma workshops, I have workshops every month where I bring in experts in different fields because I think
wonderful.
all of these entrepreneurs that are in my circle, all of us need to keep growing, keep learning,
Absolutely.
and have resources of people that will help us. And my 360 Karma community is all about bringing out people's gifts so they're using their gifts to,
Yeah.
you know, make the world a better place and do what makes them happy
Yeah.
and share that gift with other people that don't have their gift but utilize the gifts of other people in the community that they don't have.
I love
you
that.
know, and I think that's what it's all about. It's
Absolutely.
about us all helping each other out.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
there's no value in pretending you know something. You
And
know,
I've never
you
really
gotta-
seen an entrepreneur that's good that tries to do everything themselves. Yeah.
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 It's there's
Surround
enough
yourself with a
going
good
on.
team, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's enough that you have to deal with on a daily basis that
Yeah.
don't try to learn how to code a website. You know, find
That
a
will
company
never
that-
happen
it will
for
never
me.
happen. And it's all changing so fast that you know
Exactly.
you got to keep up by keeping. You know,
Keeping
your
current
team.
too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and also too with the internet, boy, it's always a challenge to, you know, things are changing and moving every single day, right?
So
it's like
fast.
keeping on top of it. But
Yeah.
I think as an entrepreneur, I know you probably feel this way too. That's what I love about being an entrepreneur. Every day I'm learning. Things are changing.
yeah.
It keeps your mind going and keeps us young and interested. If it was the same old every day, I don't know about you, but I'd be bored.
So boring.
We are
Yes.
definitely entrepreneurs.
Yes, we are.
So for all of our
better or
entrepreneurs
worse.
out there, we say, you know, you will make mistakes. Keep going.
Absolutely.
It is
Learn
about
from them.
fortitude. It is about surrounding yourself with good people, and it is about, you know, recognizing what your strengths are not and finding people who have those strengths. So
Absolutely.
I'm so happy for your thriving business.
Thank you so much.
We love your cookies.
Thank you. I brought you some. They're
Oh, awesome. Oh, my God, awesome.
Yeah, there's a box of them.
And I'm not sharing, Tony. And just keep, being a successful businesswoman, because you're an inspiration to other women that want to do the same. So thanks for being on, Courtney.
Thank you for having me. This was really nice.
You bet. And we will be back next week with more amazing women. So check back with us next Wednesday at noon, and be sure to follow us, like I said, on YouTube or your favorite podcasts. Make it a great day. Hugs and happiness.